West Virginia is inbred and how New York is just New York City.
I'm Matt Kraft. I'm from Fayetteville, New York.
Hello, my name is Zachary New, and I'm from St. Albans, West Virginia.
Hello, my name is Haley Breeding, and I'm from St. Albans, West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Erica Vertigan, and I'm from Liverpool, New York.
Well, number one, everyone assumes that either you're from New York City or there's nothing left to New York. There's no other place other than New York City that defines it.
Okay, well, my initial impression of New York was that it was just a big city. Like, even though I know it's made up of a bunch of smaller cities, but there was very little rural areas. We were on a bus trip with my friend, and I woke her up as we were passing through the Shenandoah Valley because I wanted to point out the mountains that we were passing and things like that. I used to think, I never thought of them like being like rural or West Virginia. I always just thought of it like just really close to the city, like maybe like a 30-minute drive to get to Brooklyn or some other part of New York, like the big city life and stuff like that. People from New York, regardless if they're from the rural areas or not, as being these kind of uppity rich people-ish, like they experience a higher quality of things than we could ever, like especially here in West Virginia.
You know, if you're from New York, you're just automatically trendy. You know exactly what's going on, and you're way in front of everyone else no matter where they're at. You're just completely in the fad, and you know what's going on.
I would imagine a bunch of apartments just on top of each other. You know, knowing there's not really enough space to own your own land and things like that.
Ah, forget about it! It's no problem, come on!
House in the suburbs, 2 stories, neighborhood, 2-car garage. What is it, half-acre yard? I think it's a half-acre yard.
2-story house with a 2-car garage, like your normal neighborhood, the school merit. No.
Absolutely not. They're about, what's that, 5 hours away from New York City? It's about 5 hours depending on how fast you drive.
Probably like 5 or 6 hours. Yes, I've seen mountains before.
Yeah, it's called the Adirondacks.
I've never been to New York City. Maybe you would marry your cousin? Or your cousin's cousin?
Cousin lovin'.
They're all poor coal miners with their flasks, just chilling in the coal mines. Probably some moonshine from a flask.
Bible thumping Bible belt.
They're all just really poor in their coal mines with their flasks, just hanging out, meeting friends with their cousins.
Poor.
It would be a little bit more in the country, but not like country, like ranch style. Probably with some trucks in the front. Kids running around. A lot of animals. Yeah. Like buck wild. So I went out back and I took the chickens from the coop and then I killed one for dinner.
No, I'm not a coal miner, but I grew up with some people who relatives were coal miners and stuff. I never really developed an opinion on coal. I don't like it when they blow the tops of mountains off. I mean,
I've never been related to any coal miners. I'm not a coal miner, but I do have family friends who are coal miners, and it's definitely their entire livelihood. Like, it's everything for them. No, not at all. Nothing even close to that. No.
No, I haven't. We lived behind 2 convenience stores and when we had like a little fence. It was really nice.
I mean, I live on a cute little suburban street like everyone else. We have a park down at the bottom of the hill. We have plenty of neighbors. Everyone's really nice and happy, and we have dogs everywhere. And, you know, it's a really nice place. I mean, it's definitely not out of the way at all. I mean, it's really pretty suburban, so... Well, I definitely wouldn't say that I'm overly religious. Yes, I definitely have a religion, but I'm not overly zealous with going to church or anything like that. Although there's a lot of people in our town that going to church is the main staple of how they build their lives. But that doesn't mean that they're bigots or prejudiced or anything like that. The majority of the people in my town were always really, really very accepting of people.
In my community, there are a lot of Christian churches all over. Like, even if we don't have the record for the most churches, we still have a lot of churches, and they're all of different sects of Christianity.
Unfortunately, I have heard of Buck Wild. I've never seen it. I'm thankful for that. Definitely does not describe the majority of West Virginians. I mean, that's just crazy. That kind of stuff is just really, really shameful. I mean, I don't like the fact that that's what people use to describe West Virginia.
Do I know anybody from the show who acts, or anyone in real life that acts like the show Buck Wild? Yeah. Yeah. I definitely do. I mean, it's not like a majority, but there was definitely a proportion of our high school that emulated this even before the shows came out. Like, in the shows, they were like, you know, like filling trucks up with like water and stuff and making a swimming pool out of it. But no one like in my high school did that. But they did go mudding, and then they did drink a lot and have a lot of sex and stuff like that, like you saw on the show. But it doesn't accurately depict the lives of the majority of West Virginian youth.